Actually, one of the ideas that they love the most is something called a blank page exercise, which is something that I started doing a few years ago. So typically when you sit down and meet with a teacher and work with a teacher, traditionally or conventionally, it is in a post-observation setting, which is very evaluative and very Monday morning quarterbacky. Like, you sit down with the teacher and you say, well, you threw an interception and you really shouldn't throw an interception. And like, everybody knows you don't want to throw an interception. Nobody intended to do that, but you're in the moment and life is happening. The classroom's happening in real time. And that's really challenging work, especially nowadays. So the nice thing about the blank page exercise is I get to sit down with a teacher one-on-one and start with literally a blank page. Instead of critiquing the work that was already done, you get to kind of work together to build something new. And that always creates fertile ground for a great conversation, talking about method, talking about approach, talking about tactics, talking about instruction, talking about what could be more effective and less effective, and then sharing my expertise and my experience, and then trying to not just show them what I'm capable of doing, but open up their eyes to what they're capable of doing. And the most important part for me is that it shows the humility on my behalf that like some of my ideas will be horrendous. And that's okay. We'll start with a terrible idea and then we'll iterate until it becomes a better idea. And very often it's the teacher who comes up with the better version of the idea that I started with. And that's great. But the idea is like, how can we start thinking in certain directions and in certain ways? And then how do you turn that into a lesson plan that's effective, that you can go ahead and teach? And by the way, there have been occasions where I've worked with the teacher and then said to the teacher, would you like me to model this tactic or this approach or this technique in the classroom? And I'm happy to do it, because if I can't put myself out there and show that this works, then, then I'm being ingenuine, and I don't want to do that. They'll take me up on it, and then I'll go in, and if they have, let's say, 2 sections of the same course, I'll teach one and they'll teach one, and then we'll meet after and we'll have a conversation about what worked and didn't work in mine and what worked and didn't work in theirs, and that just becomes another facet of their growth.